Good morning, everybody. Boker Tov, Shavua Tov. This week's Parashat Lech Lecha, the Torah introduces to us Avraham Avinu, and we know Avraham Avinu was the first of our forefathers. We have Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And Abraham was challenged, 10 tests, 10 nisyonot, and the first one that we know of, according to some Mefarshim, actually this wasn't the first one, but one of them, the beginning ones, were Lech Lecha. God says to Avraham Avinu, Lech Lecha, go for yourself, away from your land, Me'artzecha, from your land, Moradetecha, from your birthplace, Bet Avicha. Go, just pack your bags. Can you imagine? You just have to pack your bags. You're beautiful here. We're in Los Angeles now. We're living a beautiful life, Beverly Hills. The sun is shining. We're in the middle of end of October and the weather's so nice. And God says, no, just get out of this country. Go, pack your bags, leave your family, just leave. It's a test. And where are you going to go to? I'm not going to tell you where. I'm not going to say, just go, have emunah and trust in me. And obviously Avraham Avinu passes his challenge and passes his test. But our sages, our rabbis ask, what is the double language that says Lech Lecha twice? It could have just said, God could have said to Avraham, V'yomer Hashem el Avraham, God says to Avraham, Lech, go. What do you mean Lech Lecha? So all the Hachamim are troubled with this double language of Lech Lecha, go for yourself. So Rashi answers the question, and Rashi says Lecha means for your benefit, Ve'lehanatcha, and for your own good. But I would like to give an answer. The Ben Ish Hai explains it with a mashal. Why does the Torah use the word Lech Lecha, the double language, go for yourself? And he says there's a mashal of a certain man who had a dream. He had a dream one night that he dreamt that the king, there was a very big ladder that had 1,000 steps. And he dreamt that the king was climbing up the ladder, the king of that country, that city was climbing up the ladder, and he reached till half the ladder, till the 500 steps of the ladder. So he says, you know what? I love the king so much. Let me go tomorrow morning, as soon as I wake up, and tell the king that I had this beautiful dream about him. So he goes to the king and he says, Your Majesty, the king, I love you so much. I dreamt about you even in my dream last night. Really? What was the dream? And he tells him the dream about the ladder had 1,000 steps, and he was there and climbed all the way to the 500th step. He reached half the ladder. So the king loved this dream so much, so he told his servant, please give him 1,000 golden coins to this person who dreamt this dream of mine. So Baruch Hashem, he was so happy. He comes home. The neighbor, it's a problem when you have some neighbors, you have to know who's good neighbors, who's not. The neighbor heard that, she hears that, this guy goes to the king and has a dream, and he gets 1,000 gold coins. She tells the husband, you know what? Tomorrow morning, you go to the king, and you tell the king that you dreamt of him, that not only did he go and get to half the way of the ladder, but he reached the top of the ladder. He climbed all 1,000 steps. And I'm sure if this guy got 1,000 gold coins, you're going to get 10,000 gold coins. So he listens to his wife's advice, and he goes the next morning to the king, and he says, Your Majesty the king, I had a dream last night about you. So the king says, what was the dream about? He says, look, I dreamt that you had that there was a big ladder with 1,000 steps, and you reached, not only did you reach half the ladder, but you reached the 1,000 steps. You reached the top, the very top of the ladder you reached. So the king hears the dream, and he tells his servant, this guy, make sure he executes him and throw him from the roof all the way down. His punishment is death. So all the people went to the king and says, Your Majesty, what's the difference between the dream yesterday and the dream today? It's the same thing. And he says, no, there's a major difference. The dream yesterday, the man came to me and said that there's a ladder that I was climbing on that has 1,000 steps. And I got to the 500th step. That's good news. Why? Because it shows that I have much more to grow, much more to live, much more to do for my country. I have so much more I could do. I'm only halfway there. And it shows that my country is going to grow more and more. And it gives me more challenges in life to do. But this guy's telling me that I've already reached the top. I've reached the end. There's nothing for me to do. The only thing left for me is to go down. And my country is going to go down. That's a very bad dream. That's an evil dream. So his punishment is death. It says the Ben Ish Hai, this is the double language of Lech Lecha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying to Avraham Avinu, Lech Lecha. What does Lech Lecha mean? There's a difference between human beings and malachim and angels. Angels have a status called Omed. They stand. They can't go any higher. They can't go any lower. They have no Yetzer Hara. They have no more growth to do. There's nothing for them more to do. That's why they're called a malach. They can't sin. They can't do any better than they're supposed to. There's nowhere to grow. No challenges in life. But a human being isn't in a status called Omed, where he stands. He's in a status called Lech. A human being is always growing. He's always doing. He can grow further and further in Torah and mitzvot and have more challenges. That's what a human being is. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Avraham Avinu, Lech, go, Lecha, because you are in a status of Lech. Lech Lecha. You are in that status. You're not a Malach Avraham. This is the beginning of your journey. Lech, you're going to grow. You're going to go further in Torah and mitzvot. You haven't yet reached. You haven't yet completed your challenges in life. And this is what the Torah is coming to tell us all. That every human being in life has challenges in life. And nobody can be completed without challenges, without tests. This test of Lech Lecha is for every single human being that we have in life. And this also answers another question. There's a midrash that says that there's a question whether the last nisayon, the last test of Avraham Avinu, the Akedah, was the highest test, or was the test of Lech Lecha, leaving your country, leaving your town, the highest test? So Hachamim ask, how can we even think that there was a higher test than the nisayon of the Akedah, the test of the Akedah? The Akedah is Avraham Avinu has to go. God tells Avraham Avinu, appears to the middle of the night, and says, go take your only son and slaughter him, Yitzchak. Take Isaac and slaughter him. How could anything come near the last test of the Akedah, of slaughtering his most beloved son, Yitzchak? And the answer is, Hachamim give, that the test of the Akedah was a one-time thing. Everybody can become a hero once in their lifetime. Obviously, we're not diminishing the test. It was a very great test. Of course, it's the highest test. But in one way, Avraham Avinu was prepared. God prepared him. He told him, go tomorrow morning and take your son to the mountain of Moriah, and there I want you to slaughter him. So obviously, it's hard for him to do that, but he's preparing himself. Everybody can become a hero once in a lifetime. If you hear many stories, people in the wars, people in difficult times, they do heroic acts. And when they're interviewed and they're asked questions, how did you do this? And they say, really, I'm a coward. I'm not a hero. But I just, some reason, I got this extra strength, this extra power, and I did this heroic act. But really, myself, I'm not a hero in life. Everybody can do a heroic act once in a lifetime. Lech Lecha is the real test. God is telling Abraham Avinu, Lech Lecha, you are not like an angel. You are in the status of Lech. You have to continue to grow. You have to have challenges. And this is our life. Everyone, God is not speaking to Avraham Avinu, He's speaking to us. In our lifetime, we have challenges of Lech Lecha. What is the challenges in our life? Getting up in the morning for tefillah. The ins and the outs, the day and day things. That's our challenges. That's the real life. How we behave with our wife, how we behave with our children, carpool problems, just the main regular things. Going to the stores, going shopping, waiting online. Do we behave with derech eretz? Do we not behave with derech eretz? That's the Lech Lecha. That's the day in, that's the day out challenges. That's what the real test is in our life. And just like Avraham Avinu passed the day in, day out tests of Lech Lecha, when we bless you all, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless us, that all these challenges, the regular day in, going to work, coming back from how we deal in business, with emunah, with faith, that's the real Lech Lecha, that's the real test. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu tests us on. So we should, Bezat Hashem, just like Avraham Avinu, pass the test. And our life should be full of the Lech Lechas, of growth, full of Torah, and full of mitzvot, and full of Hesed. Amen ve Amen.